Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Kayla and I'm super excited because I've decided that I'm going to be making like a little mini series, I guess you could call it, and it's going to be called, I'm not sure on the title, I think it's going to be called What Now or What's Next, something like that. But I'm really excited about it because this series is going to be focused on going through hard times that were not part of our plans, something that we didn't expect to happen. Maybe you lost your job. I know so many people have lost their jobs right now. Maybe you have a family member who have died. Maybe you're going through a divorce, something that you didn't have in the plan in your plan books, something that you had no idea that was going to happen. So this first video, I'm going to be talking about God's plan. I'm going to be talking about, when we go through events like this, how it is so easy to get so focused in what is going on, get so focused in the actual problem and to not look up. So I want to start off by talking about, personal experiences that I've had with this. This year especially, I feel like I've gone through a lot of transition and I've learned so much from it, particularly in the beginning of the year. I had a job. It was a contract job, and I knew that it was going to be ending at the end of that year. But I had faith the entire time. I wanted to have faith that this is what God wanted for me and that He was going to keep me there. And I continued to have faith in that and prayed about it all the time. So when it came to the end, I wasn't able to stay there, and I was very upset because that's not what I thought God had planned for me. I thought He had planned that I was going to stay there. So I was really upset, and I felt like He had forgotten about me and that He wasn't really there, and He wasn't paying attention, or I just didn't understand why that didn't happen when I had been praying and I had been there, and I just felt like He wasn't upholding His side. He didn't follow through. And oftentimes that can happen. That can happen when we get too focused on our own plan, that we forget that maybe that's not how God wanted it. Maybe that's not how the plan was really supposed to be. That's how our plan was supposed to be. And when I was going through that, I was so focused on how bad it was, and I was so focused on it not being the plan that I wanted. And it didn't take till later on for me to realize that that was for a reason. I ended up getting a job at a preschool, and I was working there, and I really discovered a passion for kids, really discovered that I really felt God using me there and using me to just love one another, to love others, and to just love on God's children. And I loved it, and I discovered a true passion that I had for children. And I probably wouldn't have discovered that if it wasn't for this whole transition. And for me, getting a job there and everything, it may not have been a part of my plan, but, God knew that was going to happen. He knew I was not going to have a job. He is always there, and He is constantly working, even though I may not have felt Him at that moment. Maybe you're going through something similar. Maybe you have been at a job, you've been very loyal there for years and years, and you never would have left. And this is God's way of trying to get you out of that situation, because maybe there's something else that He needs you to do. Maybe you have fulfilled your purpose there. Maybe He wants you to do something else, and He wants to use you in another way, and He needed for that story to end, for this new one to start. Maybe there is something that He wants to work on with you. Maybe you've never really had this relationship with God where you're totally focusing on Him to get you through something. Instead, when things get hard, you focus on yourself, your own abilities, maybe your own abilities to get a job, or maybe you're focused on this $1,000 that's going to get you through this, and you put all of your focus on, you're essentially making that your idol instead of God. And He wants you to really put all of your focus into Him and all your faith into Him. Maybe this time is for that. Maybe He's trying to start this awakening in you by this. Maybe He wants to, really build your faith. And I'm not talking all about this to put a lot of focus on this. I believe that we don't really need to focus on, right now, we do not need to focus on what He is doing. we don't need to try to figure that out because we can't. It's not for us to figure that out. It's because it's God's plan and only He sees what He's doing at this moment. And it may take later on for us to realize, oh my goodness, like that's what He was doing. Now I see it. Now I can see clearly what He was doing. We are not the planners of our life. This is not our story. That is not our job to know what's going to happen next, to plan what's going to happen, to know what's going to happen next. That's His God. That's His God. That's His job. Our job is to have faith in Him and to put all of our trust into Him and to do what we can and to leave the rest for God to figure out. That's what He desperately wants to do for us. And He is there, and He is always there, even though we may not see Him, we may not feel Him. He is there, and He is working on your plan. I promise you, He has not forgotten about you. And He has beautiful, amazing plans for you that you would have never imagined could possibly happen. I want to read this verse. I'm going to read it because I want to make sure I get it right, but it's Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. When I was going through that hard time I was talking about, and really when I go through any time of transition or unknown, I love this verse, and I love to focus on this because He is pretty much promising us right there that He has plans for us, great and amazing plans that are for good and plans to prosper us. He doesn't have any plans to harm us. That's not in His plan book. He's not going to harm us. So I keep that in mind when I put my faith and my trust in God, to know that He knows what's going on. Our plans that we have for ourselves, when we put all our trust in ourselves and not in God, it's never going to be end up right. We're going to end up hurting ourselves a lot more. It's going to be a mess. It never seems to work out. But that's because we're not putting our trust in God and putting our trust in God's plan. So I just really hope that this video can help you in some way, and help, more importantly, remind you that we have an almighty God who is very powerful, and He is the one who is in charge of our beautiful plans for our lives, and He has something very beautiful for every single person out there. And so I really hope that you're able to take something from this video. And yeah, if you are personally going through job loss, or a family member sick, or something that you were not expecting to happen during this time, I will be praying for you and will be keeping you in your prayers. So yeah, I really hope that you decide to come back and watch another video. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you have a great day.